Matthew Stafford and the Rams absolutely destroyed the Jags 35-7 behind Matthew Stafford throwing 5 touchdown passes, sideways passes, up passes to tight ends to 10 different receivers, and he officially joins the MVP discussion. I mean, Matthew Stafford today was amazing. They just kept attacking, and it was really a team effort, but they just kept attacking the Jags pass defense, and he was the orchestrator of that. 21 for 33, 182 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks. But you know my rule, I'm very consistent on this. Screw yards. They don't matter, and what Matthew Stafford was doing out there today was incredible. He's without Puka Nacua, without his best receiver, was just throwing tight passes to tight ends, continuously pushing the ball down the field. And while the Jags are 4th in pass defense, they did come into the game 7th in points allowed, allowing 20, and he absolutely ripped them to shreds. The connection that him and Devante Adams had in the red zone, and it's funny, Devante Adams is definitely a talker, and there's a lot of things that he says that are interesting, but he said something that I actually agree with, in that even though I thought it was a bold thing to say, he was like, I'm all about getting in the end zone, and we got to teach Puka how to get more touchdowns. And Devante in the red zone, 3 touchdowns for Devante. 5 catches, 35 yards, but 3 of them in the end zone. He caught some against the Eagles as well, and let's look this up. I'm interested now in how many Devante's got to be up there in the league for touchdowns. That I think about it, he's got 6, tied for 16. It just felt like he had more to me. Does that include today? That does include today. That's kind of wild. Oh, he only had 1 against the Eagles. So it's funny he says that. I thought he had more receiving touchdowns, but 6. I mean, now 6 is a lot. But 3 heading into that game. It's funny that they caught him quoted saying that about Puka. But I've thought that for a while, that Puka doesn't always get in the end zone, but he does get a lot of yards, and he's a great player. I'm not trying to take anything away from Puka. It's an interesting quote. But to do that without him, throwing it again, 10 different guys, the play calls from McVay were great, just catching with play action fakes. They were throwing it to tight ends. Parkinson had some, Higbee. It was everyone. It was a truly crazy performance. And again, that one, there was just the one throw that was his signature. Stafford, he's getting pressured. He throws it an underhand, sidearm lob to the back of the end zone, but it just floats in, hits dude right in the hands, and I'm just like, this guy is dealing. And obviously from Stafford, what we saw today, sometimes he can have these inconsistent quarters and halves, but today they just put the pedal to the metal. And so far this season, the reason I'm saying he's entered the MVP discussion, I didn't realize this, the dude has 17 passing touchdowns to 2 interceptions. That's crazy. That's insane. I love touchdown to interception ratios. That's a lot of touchdown passes, and we obviously know he's had the games with the big yards against the Colts. I think he almost threw for 400 against the 49ers. They lost that game, but that was not on him at all. He was amazing in that performance. I'd say he was a little rough against the Ravens for stretches, and against the Eagles, and against the Eagles he just had an off game. But he's first in passing yards as we are right now. Now, this can obviously change. I'm recording this at 4 o'clock. There's still games going on, but at least he's up there in passing yards. He's 4th, tied for 4th again, currently with touchdowns at 17. That's higher level stuff. And the Rams are 5-2, and without Puka, doing that today without Puka against what we think is a good defense, even though their pass defenses. I didn't know they were 4th until I looked it up. I'm like, that's really, really bad. They allow 256 a game. That's actually horrible. But it is what it is. And you got to attack it. And they were just able to do that without Puka today. And that was highly, highly impressive stuff, especially from McVay. And I got to point, I'm just going to point this out as well. They made a big point about McVay and what they were doing with the scheme of staying they stayed on the East Coast, and then they went over to London rather than staying all week in London. I thought that for a while, and the way that the Broncos and Jets both played, having been there, I'd been like, yeah, mix it up. And the Rams easily look like the best team we've seen overseas so far this year. And we've seen this before with him in the preseason, obviously not playing guys. and won a Super Bowl off of that theory. Sean McVay is definitely willing to mix it up, and this is why he's one of the best coaches in the NFL. And him and Stafford, what they did today was just incredible stuff. However, one thing that I do think, and this is the reason that everyone said that the Rams were contenders, and I would have to agree, especially at least at this current moment, when you look at the NFC and just how good they've been. Their D-line is ridiculous. And Byron Young currently, again, right now as we record, he leads the NFL in sacks with 9. He's just been a game wrecker, and that's opposite of Verse. And again, I say this every pod, so I don't want to bang the drum if you've seen the old ones. But, I mean, that tandem is just the best DN tandem in the league. I don't think that's even let me stop because the Giants are up there, but I don't know. The dude leads the league in sacks and Versus on the other end. So they're definitely up there. They're fourth right now in sacks per game with 3. They had 7 today. And, I mean, Trev had no chance. Not only did they have 7, but they were forcing the offensive line to grab and hold, so they couldn't. They just were collapsing other plays as well. It was an amazing performance from that defensive line out there, and they were in complete control of the entire game. So impressive stuff from the Rams defensive line as well, and they continue to be a top unit. I feel like an idiot. I feel dumb. I got to be honest. I picked the Jags to win this game like a clown, like a fool, knowing that the Rams D-line is great and knowing that the Jags offensive line specifically struggled last week against Seattle. They let up 9 sacks, and they had similar issues, and the Rams were just able to just completely take hold of that and just wreck the game. And just as a team, like, that's the kind of performance you want, 35-7. The Jags did just beat the Chiefs, right? Like, they played Seattle. They lost to Seattle, but they lost by 8. Like, so for you to go out there and just really put it on them with no Puka, and again, Seattle used a lot of JSN. So for you to go out there and do that with no Puka, highly impressive stuff from the Rams. Honestly, exactly, I don't even know what else you can say. They definitely have shown now that they are contenders up to this point, and Stafford is definitely in it. When you have a defense like that and your quarterback's playing like this, and a D-line that can get pressure, that just changes the entire game. You saw today, like, how they can really put it on teams. And coming up, they get a bye week, and then they get the Saints. So a bye week and then the Saints, who just lost to the Bears today, and the Saints stink. And you get them at home. They are a little better in New Orleans, but you get them at home. Then they play the Saints, the 49ers. That's a tough game. Seahawks, Bucks. It gets really tough after that Saints game. You just need to get to 6-2, and then we're going to find out a lot about the Rams. That Buccaneers game could be huge. That's a swing game in the conference, in the division right now. Seattle hasn't played as I'm recording this, but the NFC, but that whole division is tough. The 49ers are 4-2, I believe. The Seahawks, yes, Seahawks as well are 4-2, and the Cardinals right now they're fighting their butts off against the Packers. So with I think Jacoby Brissett's playing. I don't like to. I like to stop misquoting. So it's a tough game. That could still go either way, but we've seen them actually look a little more competent with Jacoby Brissett out there, which has been interesting. So, yeah, I'm definitely. Hey man, it's gonna be, the Rams are a very good team, and that win, and now you get a bye week to go into the bye week 5-2. I feel like teams got to be a little annoyed, like, you give us a bye week for the Saints. Like, we would have loved that bye week for the 49ers and the Seahawks. That's how I would feel if I'm in a scheme for a team. But it is what it is. Big win for the Rams to really establish who they were, especially last week after kind of an up-and-down performance against the Ravens where you feel like they left something on the table. And we will see what this means for them going forward. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please watch some of the other videos on the site. I've created a playlist with each and every football team, and every week we will be going over those games. I'm really loving this, enjoying it, and hoping you guys are as well. Of course, like, subscribe, and if anyone wants to sponsor, we're looking for Lumia Sports Productions is looking for sponsors. Shout us out. We will shout you out during the video. Thank you guys again for watching. Have a great day. Enjoy.